and welcome back to another video from HSTV, and in today's video, as you can see by the video title, we are going to be comparing Samsung Notes and Noteshelf. Now we did actually do this review 3 years ago, but one, that video is old now, and two, both apps have been updated with new features. So I thought it would be really good and useful for you guys if I compared these apps again. Now, if you're new to the channel and you don't know who I am, my name is Heen Shamaz and I'm a medical student here at the University of Edinburgh. And over the past few years, I have been using Samsung's Tab S7 Plus to help me take notes at university. And I've used Samsung Notes quite a bit, and I did use Noteshelf for a little while, but I just left it for some reason. So I'm going to revisit it today, and we're going to be comparing these apps based on accessibility, the tools available, as well as additional features that, you know, one likes to have in a note-taking app. So let's see who comes out on top. Stay tuned and let's get into it. Firstly, let's talk about accessibility. So Samsung Notes is available for free on all your Samsung devices, and then it used to be available on Windows actually, but now it is not, so that is a bit annoying. And yeah, it's pretty much only limited to Samsung nowadays. So Noteshelf, on the other hand, is a paid app. It's actually £7.49 here on the Samsung Tab S7 Plus, but it is available across lots of different platforms, including Apple and Windows as well. So I think Noteshelf takes the win here for the cross-platform compatibility, but Samsung Notes wins for being free. Alright, so let's jump into Samsung Notes and see what it really has to offer. So as you can see, the overall interface of Samsung Notes is really simple and quite easy to follow and learn to navigate. Now let's talk about the organization. So actually making the folders and importing things in is super easy. So if you want to create a new note, you just click at the bottom right hand corner and you've now created a new note. If you want to create a new folder, you can click the 3 dots at the top there and create a folder. You can then name that folder, and then you have all these colors that you can choose from, but it is really basic. And then within folders you can have more folders and notes and things, so it's actually quite easy to navigate. Also on the left hand side here you can see all your folders like so, and yeah, it's pretty easy to organize things. If you want to add PDFs straight into Samsung Notes, there is a PDF add button at the top right hand corner, and you can add directly like that. So I think it's pretty easy to organize your notes in Samsung Notes. Okay, let's jump to Noteshelf then. Now, Noteshelf, again, also has a really nice, simple, basic interface that's quite easy to navigate. Now, Noteshelf, I think, personally offers a bit more customization. So you can create a quick note, which is similar to what you could do on Samsung Notes as well. And then also you can create these notebooks. So, for example, you can choose from lots and lots of different templates and covers that you want on your notebook, and then actually once you've chosen that, you can choose your template. You can choose your template on Samsung Notes as well. I'll get into that after, but yeah, you can have these like jotters almost, and you can obviously name it and create these notebooks. And then if you want to have a folder or a category as they call it, you can make a new group, and then within that group you can put in your notebooks. So a bit more organization in Noteshelf, I think, and a bit more customization as well when it comes to your folders and your categories. So I think Noteshelf takes the win here. Back over in Samsung Notes, let's talk about the different tools that we've got. Now there is a variety of tools to choose from. You have this kind of thin fountain pen, you've got this squared fountain pen, you've also got a normal pen, you have a pencil for which you can actually change the opacity and things for as well, and you also have a paintbrush. So quite a few tools in there to work with. Along with that, you can obviously change the size of these tools as well, And in terms of the color palettes, there's a few that you can choose from there, but if you really want, there is a lot of colors and opacities and things that you can play around with, and there's plenty to choose from. Moving into the highlighters then, you have a few different types, so either a normal highlighter or you can have one that has a rulered edge, so a bit easier if you're working with PDFs and things. Along with that, you've obviously got all of the different colors as well that you can choose from. Now, something to note here with both of these highlighter tools and your pen tools is that you can create a favorites bar, and that's really easy to do. You just have to click the star button at the top, and let's say I want to have all of these starred. Well, now I have a favorites bar like so. And on Samsung Notes, it's super easy to switch between these because all you have to do is click the button on your S Pen. So for example, if I click here, I switch to here, I click again, I've now switched to this pen, and again, and again. So you get the idea. And as you saw there, if I hold my button on the S Pen, I can switch to the erase tool. And talking about the erase tool, you can either have a stroke eraser or an area eraser. So that's pretty basic. Now, let's talk about the lasso tool, which I think is really important, especially for perfectionist type people like me. You can either have a lasso or a rectangle, and really what that allows you to do is to move things around and shape them, and you can even change the style of things as well if you wanted. So if I wanted to change this to a blue, done. Perfect. So quite easy to do. Now within the lasso tool, I really like that you can have this option of including partially selected objects or not. So for example, if I have this option off and I do that, then that circle will not be selected. But with that option on, I will select this no matter if I'm halfway cutting through it or not. So yeah, that's like that. Then you can obviously have your more colors and things here. Moving forward, you have the typed tools as well, so you can convert handwriting to text. Let's play around with that a bit right now. So over here you can actually write, so hi, this is HSTV, and you can see that it's not perfect, it's not done a brilliant job, and I think that was pretty neat handwriting. Let's give it another go. If we typed circle, okay, that's a bit better. If we type HSTV again, let's see if it can, okay, so you can see it does work, but sometimes it doesn't, so maybe they need to improve that setting a little bit. Moving forward, then you can align things, you know, however you want. I won't go into that too much. And then there is a text, so you can actually have writing, so like so, and then you can click that other text tool, and then you've got that converted. So you can convert it, and then you kind of have it in a text box that you can then move around. So a little bit different, but a few options there. You then have the change style tool. So, you know, if I wanted that circle to now be really thick and red, then I can do that, like so. You've also got this tool where you've got easy writing pad, so you can actually write at the bottom here, like so, hi, there, and then actually you know, you can move it around, and I don't really know how useful this tool is, but it's there if you want it. You also have the shape tool, yeah, where you can draw shapes like so, and it will make them into shapes for you. And yeah, that's pretty much a brief overview of all of the tools available to you on Samsung Notes. Alright, so let's talk tools in Noteshelf. So similar kind of tools bar at the top, just like in Samsung Notes, and here we've got 3 pens to choose from. I'll briefly give you an overview. So here's the first pen, we have the second pen, which is more of a fountain pen. Can't notice much difference there actually, and then we've got a thinner felt tip as well. Now they all kind of seem quite similar to me. I don't know, maybe there is a difference when I'm actually using them, but yeah, that's your 3 pens. Then we've also got plenty of colours to choose from, and you've also got a similar thing to Samsung Notes where you can really pick from a wide range of colours. Now, just like in Samsung Notes, Noteshelf also has a favourites bar that you can create. So for example, if I wanted this, I click the love heart there, and I click the love heart there, and then I can click show my favorites bar here at the top. Now, unlike Samsung Notes, when you do click the S Pen button here, you can't really switch between your tools, so you will have to keep on clicking at the top to switch between them. But it's good to see that we have the option to have a favorites bar there. Okay, so moving further then to the highlighters. So we've got a similar set of highlighters. We've got a round highlighter and a kind of chiseled highlighter as well. And here we can also do it to draw straight lines. So, you know, you can get straight lines like that. And then also a variety of colors to choose from there, depending on what you fancy. Moving to the eraser tool, so you've got a few options for the size of eraser that you want. Now this auto tool, I want to try it out because I don't really know what it is or what it's trying to get at, but it seems to just erase like everything, so that's interesting. Okay, so I see. Okay, so I think what their auto tool is the stroke eraser equivalent on Samsung Notes, and the area eraser you have 3 to choose from, like that, and then you can just clear your page. Now, just like Samsung Notes, if you do hold the button on your S Pen, it will turn into the eraser for you. Okay, moving on to the next feature, which is the shape tool. Now, I actually think that the shape tool is maybe a bit better on Noteshelf, because these are your common shapes that you would use, and you can see that it actually works quite nicely, and you can play around with it quite a bit. So I think the architectures among us will like this, because you can form pretty good 3D shapes and things here, and I really do like the arrows as well. I wish we had arrows on Samsung Notes, because that's something I use a lot of in my note taking. So that's pretty cool, I think. You've also got this tool here, which should allow you to draw any shape freestyle if you wanted as well, so like so. Okay, moving further, let's just get rid of all of this, clear the page. You've got the lasso tool, so if we have a circle like so and we want to do something to it, we have got the options to resize it. We can move it about, similar to what we had on Samsung Notes. We've also got the text feature, so we can test how good this is. Let's do the same. So hi, this is make it clearer, HSTV. And if we put it into text, I don't really know what's happening here or why this is not really working. Maybe if we double tap. Okay, so I think that on Noteshelf, there's not really a convert writing to text, handwriting to text feature, but what you do have is the typed feature. And actually it's a bit better than Samsung Notes, because we've got a few fonts to choose from, and you know, you can play around with the settings there. So yeah, I think overall, you know, if you are going to be using these apps, I think it's probably for the handwritten aspect rather than the typed aspect, but both apps do offer both features. Now I want to talk a bit about templates. So back here in Samsung Note, there are lots of templates that you can choose from, as well as background colors of the page as well, depending on what you fancy. I'm a big fan of the dark backgrounds, but there is a lot to choose from, or depending on what you'd like. And in the templates, just to go back as well, you can actually download custom templates as well. So there is a good opportunity there. So this is like a calendar type template that you can choose from. Now, if you want to have a set template for all your new notes, you can actually go to the settings. You can go to style of new notes and choose from the templates what template you'd like for every new note that you create, as well as the background color as well. Okay, so looking at Noteshelf then, there are also plenty of templates to choose from and colors as well. So let's take a look at the templates first. You've got these extra narrow, narrow, standard and wide. You can also choose between portrait and landscape, which is, you know, this is one of my frustrations with Samsung Notes, that you can't really choose that. So when you want to make a landscape mind maps, it's a big pain. Now you've also got a lot of colors to choose from here, and you know, as I said, I quite like this midnight, so if I wanted to have that and like this, then I've got that there for me. Now also you can have you know, stuff to add to your library, and I'm going to talk about that in just a second, but also you can download custom templates as well. Now I do think that Noteshelf is a bit better when it comes to page customizability, especially because you can choose the size of your paper, which is what you can't do on Samsung Notes. And when it comes to printing notes and, you know, converting to a PDF, things can become complicated if you have like the infinity scroll feature on. Whereas here, you can actually choose quite nicely. Now, I also think Noteshelf makes a bigger deal of the templates because, you know, when you come back, you've got all of these templates to discover, especially for, you know, your diaries and your study planners and kind of other essentials and things. There's a lot to choose from, and it's something that Samsung Notes lacks in, I think, and Noteshelf does really well at. So I think I'm going to give Noteshelf the win here. Okay, back over in Samsung Notes, let's talk about all the different types of files that you can import in. So you can actually import images, you can open up your camera, you can scan documents in, you can add PDFs from here or from the home screen as discussed previously. You can also add in voice recordings, audio files, drawings or text boxes. So it's actually quite varied. I'm giving you an example for an image. You know, if we've got this image here, I can easily bring that in, and then it's quite nice for me to annotate things like here and mark up things and etc. So it's really nice to have that feature in Samsung Notes. Also, the voice recording feature comes in handy if you're in a lecture or if you're having a meeting. You can actually record the conversation and then import it to your note. Over in Noteshelf, you also have a good variety of things that you can import in. So it's actually on the top left hand corner. You click on this plus and then you can import pages from other like books and things. You can also bring in images. But actually, on the topic of images, you know, Noteshelf has kind of partnered with Unsplash and Pixabay to give you these kind of stock images that you might want to use. And I think this could be really useful for artists, potentially for inspiration and things. So I think it's actually quite cool that they've got that, and same with the Pixabay as well. I think it's interesting that they've got this feature and Samsung Notes does not have that. So perhaps we'd want some collaboration in the future. You can also import audio recordings or actually audio record in app as well. So quite similar to Samsung Notes, but yeah, it's I think it's quite even here. Okay, so now I want to talk a bit about exporting your notes and trying to share these with others. So we can easily select our notes, and then if you click the share button, you can share as a Samsung Notes file, as a PDF file, a Microsoft Word file, or a PowerPoint, or image, or text file. It's the same if you want to export your note into your device and you want to just save it as a file. You've got the same options there. So I think it's actually quite good that the person on the other side, they don't necessarily need Samsung Notes. The other thing to mention here is if you want to collaborate on notes, Samsung Notes has got this shared notes beta that they are working on, where you can invite collaborators to work on documents with you, similar to the Google Docs kind of style, I think. Okay, over on Noteshelf, similar thing, you can select the note that you wish to share, and then the options that you've got is basically a PDF and an image, which is a bit less than the options offered by Samsung Notes. The other thing that I can't really find on Noteshelf is a way to collaborate on different notes, so that's maybe something that Noteshelf could look into in the future. Now, the great thing with both of these apps is that you can sync your notes across all the different devices that you have these apps installed on. And with Samsung Notes, that's great because Samsung Notes is free, so as long as you're signed in with your Samsung Cloud account on your different devices, you can actually sync your notes across, and this has been really useful in the past, especially when Samsung Notes used to be available on Windows. I had my notes available on my phone, my tablet and my PC. No longer on the PC, but on my phone is definitely handy. Now over in Noteshelf, it's a similar sort of thing, but you go to your settings, you've got sync and backup, and the sync is actually a beta feature at the moment, but they are working on it, and it will basically allow you to sync with your Google Drive. So I don't know if there's a good or a bad way of doing this, but Samsung does it purely Samsung Cloud, whereas with Noteshelf it might offer more cross-platform compatibility if it's over Google Drive. So that's quite nice. What I don't know really though is how notes are synced across Apple and Android devices, because as you saw here it says access all your notes on any Android device, because the app is slightly different on Apple. You have like Noteshelf 1, 2 and 3, whereas on Android there's just one Noteshelf that gets the updates. So I'm not sure really how that works because I'm not an Apple user, but yeah, that does happen, and you can actually log in with your cloud details. Okay, I just want to quickly jump back into Noteshelf to show you a cool feature that actually a lot of apps, including, you know, things like Notion, are also introducing, and that is these AI features. And Samsung Notes hasn't really done that yet, so I don't know if it's coming or if they're staying away from it, but I thought we'd try out the AI feature quickly here as well today. So for example, you know, there's two ways of going about this. You can either write something, so like if I did anatomy of the heart, see how well it recognizes my neat writing, and then you actually kind of lasso around it, then it gives you this option, Noteshelf AI. Now there was this option up here as well in the top right, but we'll try this one first. So Noteshelf AI, and it's got anatomy of the heart. Now we can generate notes on anatomy of the heart. Let's see what that gives us. So I think that's actually really cool that it can do that. Now I don't know how much people will use this because, you know, across different universities you'll have different curriculums and different learning intentions, but this is actually really cool, and let's actually add this as handwriting and see what this does. So this is really amazing actually, and yeah, this is definitely setting it apart from an app like Samsung Notes. So that's actually quite cool. What you can also do is tap on the AI feature up here, and then you can ask it anything. You know, there is one thing to be aware of, that you've got 99 out of 100 credits left now. So your AI credit resets in 20 days. It's something that is limited at the moment, and you know, I'm not sure if it will become a fully paid feature in the future. Also, a few other things on Noteshelf which I think are really interesting is, first of all, we've got the appearance, so you can choose between light and dark and all that stuff, and you know I always love the dark setting. But anyways, we'll go back to system default. The other settings that I just wanted to talk about was the handwriting recognition. So there's actually a ton of languages that you can download, and that way actually this app becomes a lot more accessible all over the world, not just in English speaking countries. So that's quite interesting. Yeah, I think the backup option is interesting as well. There's not really such thing as Samsung Notes, other than, you know, you can back up the stuff on your cloud, but that is a bit more different. And you know, if you've been following the channel, I've been a big fan of Samsung Notes. You know, I have created some really useful and lovely notes, and it's because Samsung Notes is really simple and basic and easy to use, especially for me when I came into year 1 of medical school knowing nothing about digital notes, Samsung Notes was really my savior at that point, and it was really convenient and easy to learn. And you can see that I have created some really nice notes, so the potential in Samsung Notes is definitely there, and it's all a matter of learning the features. And I'm sure Noteshelf has a very similar potential. I've just not used it as much. I'm not too sure why. Maybe that says something in itself about Samsung Notes being a bit easier to learn. But especially with that AI feature on Noteshelf now, I might be reconsidering my options. So yeah, I just wanted to show you this so you get a better idea of the potential that these note-taking apps can have. Alright everybody, well that is going to be the end of this video. I hope that you've enjoyed and you found this comparison useful, and hopefully it can help you decide which app is best for you. For me at the moment, because I'm in my clinical years, I'm finding it really hard to take a lot of these handwritten notes. So I'll probably be using a bit of a combination of different apps, including Samsung Notes and Noteshelf. I think all in all, both apps, they come very close, but perhaps Samsung Notes just takes the win because it's free, whereas Noteshelf is paid. But you know, Noteshelf has a lot to offer, as you've seen with the AI features, and I think just the overall interface and the way you can organize things is a bit better on Noteshelf as well. So yeah, it's a close one for sure, but yeah, I'm gonna leave it to you guys. Do you think Noteshelf is worth paying the few extra pounds or not? Leave your thoughts down in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.